Hi, and welcome to this Fireside chat focusing on a Swedish innovation hub with the aim to eliminate cancer. My name is Regina Sommer, and I'm the Chief Strategy Officer for International Collaborations at Vinnova, the Swedish Innovation Agency. Vision Zero Cancer is an initiative that started in 2019 by the National Cancer Coordinator. At the same time, Vinnova initiated a 5-year investment program under the umbrella Vision Driven Health. Ebba, you lead one of the 5 initiatives that received funding from the Vinnova program, and you have driven this innovation hub in a super innovative way and from day one with a system perspective. Please tell us about your background.
Thank you, Regina. Thank you very much for having me here. I'm very, very excited about these days. And so I am from Gothenburg originally. I was raised and born in Sweden, but with an international family and background. So I was always curious about what's out there as well. And so always interested in societies and working with societal questions. So I studied political science and international politics and moved early on to Spain. And then I was working abroad, but always with a passion for interests of Sweden and sort of doing business while making good for society. So I was working many years in different constellations with the Swedish Trade and Invest Council, the Business Sweden. And then also from Southern Europe moving over to Eastern Europe. Also I spent also some years of my career in Kiev and other countries, and then moving on to a global role in health, and that sort of brought me to Vision Zero Cancer. So I have this background in that with political science, but also with the business development, speaking languages, having had the opportunity throughout the years to meet a lot of interesting persons and organizations working towards improving healthcare, and particularly cancer care, with companies, with researchers, with healthcare, and also with patient representatives. So that fit in. And I knew the National Cancer Coordinator at the time when we started together to say what could we do to actually have an impact in improving the system.
That's a great international background.
Yeah.
It must have been very exciting. Why do you think you were chosen to lead Vision Zero Cancer?
Yeah, that was quite funny. I was part of as a co-founder, and I wrote that application. And actually, it was on our way to an interview with the Innovation Agency with Vinnova, where the National Cancer Coordinator said, "So if we get this, will you take care of it?" Said, well, at least as an interim, so we have a solution for the interview at least, and it started like that. And yes, so I went into an interim leadership role to set this up then 2 years ago, just when the pandemic broke out. And then the colleagues, the partners in the innovation milieu with AstraZeneca, with Elekta, Stockholm School of Economics, and the Swedish Cancer Society and others, they said, why don't you stay on? So I think what I brought into it was, of course, my networks, my international experience, but also my continuous curiosity for embracing new ideas, new people, connecting, seeing the dots and connecting them. And I think that has been part of our success, that we decided to create a dedicated team that works with the different partners and more actors that we have then brought into the innovation milieu since then. So we are many, many actors working now together.
That brings me a little bit to the next question. You describe yourself as a vision-driven innovation milieu. What does that mean? And milieu, honestly.
A milieu. Yes. Milieu. Hub, platform, arena, environment,
a new word
ecosystem. It's a new world. New word. It actually means trying. Perhaps it's about we want to create something that doesn't really exist, a new way of catalyzing innovation, bringing together also different ecosystems. And perhaps that's why also, because this came with the project, thought we should actually create a new definition. But of course, like many words, it takes time to put that into practice. But but that happened a decade ago. We didn't know what is to Google. Now everybody knows. So one day it will be most normal to speak about a milieu. But it is about creating a governance structure that enables people to work together, where you can mobilize ecosystems, where you also build the capacity and the resources, where you set a direction. And And we've set a vision, a bold vision, zero cancer, meaning that we want to eliminate cancer as a cause of death and making sure more people can live longer and better. So prevent what is preventable is part of that, for instance, but also then making sure that we can bring the right technologies, the right solutions, people in place to make it all happen.
And vision, oh, sorry, you...
No, go on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Vision Zero Cancer is based on a mission approach with a system perspective, as we were mentioning. And how do you do this in practice?
Yeah, so we are then a core team that have set the direction where we want to go. So under this vision, which is more of a bold ambition, this is very far in the future, which is actually reachable at some point. We've set more measurable goals. We created missions. One of our sort of flagship initiatives actually is about lung cancer, the early detection and screening for lung cancer. That's one of our mission areas where we work on. And through that we set the different milestones, and we convene the actors around the table, what has to be done in order to decide, for instance, on a national screening program for the target population, for instance. And we work with many different methods to reach that. And it's also a lot about convening actors. It's everything from workshops, it's ideation, but it's also about finding the gaps, many times the knowledge gaps, what's missing to be able to move forward. So we're trying to find that out, and then we bring in the resources and the solutions needed for that to happen. So it's like many actors work on their solution or combining, and we try to convene it all to happen. So.
And do you see any impact already of what you've been doing? Because you've been doing it since, it's a couple of years now.
Yes, a couple of years. Yes, so we've set actually, we take a holistic approach. If we're going to solve the question or eliminating cancer as a cause of death, we said to create impact, we decided also to focus in one diagnosis. So lung cancer, which is the #1 killer in Sweden and many other countries, where we see that we haven't managed to really create that change that is necessary. We decided to focus there, and also then to focus on bringing everything from the prevention to detection to diagnose, and then also, of course, now coming along with precision medicine. So the impact we've already seen when it comes to, for instance, working towards deciding to evaluate for a national screening program, which is happening in many countries now, those studies and implementations. We have then created a mission around that, with working from within the system changing, with the relevant authorities, working also with the parliaments generating interest, with the right patient associations, with the technology, the providers of the solutions actually to do it, but also generating new knowledge. In Sweden, for instance, we were lacking knowledge on the health economic value and the benefit. So we made sure as a catalyst to go and look for that solution, for instance, and now we have that. So we have shortened the lead time for decision making for the authorities by 1.5 years at least, and that means saving at least 200-300 lives at the end of the day. It's going to be just for that initiative.
It really sounds like a system perspective there, having everyone, from the regulatory part to the patients,
yes.
more or less,
yes.
the citizen involved
yes.
in innovating. And what does your vision for future cancer look like if we talk about the next decade?
My vision is for having, of course, the precision health, if we look at that, at the individualized prevention and the diagnosis and the treatment. And that we take a more human-centered approach to care, that we really also see what matters to the patients and their families at most, that we try to make sure that also the services around the actual medical care and treatment is also adapted to that person. But I also see that it should be more equitable, that everyone and affordable for everyone in the globe to be able to have the opportunity of a good treatment, good quality of life, and definitely that we can eliminate cancer as a cause of death.
Mm. And what is the next step? Can you name any specific innovation or research area that you think could revolutionize cancer care?
Yes, certainly. A basis is of the information-driven care with data and with artificial intelligence. That sort of drives a lot of new possibilities and the discoveries. But then again, talking about the precision health, how you now with new sequencing technologies. Blood tests that could actually detect many cancers that you can prevent much earlier. The earlier you can detect or even predict, the earlier you could treat or even stop the disease from developing. So I see a lot happening in that, but also when it comes to more gentle treatment methods, more precise radiation therapy, for instance, but also more robot-assisted surgeries, for instance. But the treatment is also a question of, I think we will see much more the focus that we already do on the quality of life aspects, the psychosocial support, for instance, and other aspects related to rehabilitation and well-being.
And what could a global Vision Zero cancer mission mean or achieve?
Yeah, I think if we create mission hubs from Vision Zero cancer in the globe, I think together we could have the capacity to build a better future by changing the system from within, because it will be shaped by us, and it's sort of conditioned by the way people think and act today. I think also we could together accelerate the uptake of innovation to enable more high quality, affordable and equitable cancer care. We would be able to detect cancer earlier to be able to cure or to treat as a chronic disease. We would definitely be able to reduce premature mortality. And as a case coming back then to lung cancer, as I said, as a #1 killer, our target is to reduce the mortality at least by 50% by 2030. But this requires working together in different initiatives, and in each country or region, the aspects and the issues or the needs will look a little bit different. So of course it has to be meaningful and purpose-driven in that context, but the same principles and ways of working and governance can be applied, and setting the right missions under the same vision that everyone sort of can buy into. That's what I would envision for the future.
And are you looking for new international partnerships? I mean, this is a great opportunity.
Yes.
We have 90 countries that have joined us during Sweden Innovation Days.
Yes.
Want to reach out to any of them?
Yes, certainly. And that's coming back to the first question about why me working in this role or taking this leadership. It's actually my passion and curiosity for the outer world, and we are definitely this is a global issue and it's a global challenge to solve, but it's also about leveraging on those opportunities that Sweden contributed to the world. We have world-leading innovations. We have a business climate or a cooperative environments, the infrastructure enabled to work and also to share that with other countries in the world. But also many of our core actors in Sweden are global in their presence. Plus, of course, Sweden is absolutely, since always, dependent on good investments and the export. So if we want to continue, which we do, to have a world-class cancer care that is universally funded, enable that access in Sweden to everyone, we need to make Sweden attractive to work with so that we can also afford it. So I think it's also important to take that holistic approach with everyone, that to work together to develop solutions and making sure that they are scalable and affordable, so that you can look at modular solutions in certain places, but also then attractiveness of world-leading research and innovation to Sweden.
And are there any chances to learn more about Vision Zero Cancer in a near future?
Yes, definitely. Then talking about global partnerships, and now of course with the Expo 2020, we do have a World Cancer event by Sweden on the 2nd of February. And more information to reach out to us is also at our website, visionsero.com. But actually, we do already have several international partnerships. I would like to say that. So we also leverage on that network that we have in Sweden on the both sides through creating different research and innovation consortia made up through mainly our university hospitals and our medical faculties together then with patients associations. But then also for Sweden, then having several countries that we work in partnership with, and with the Business Sweden network, together also with SweCare Foundation, and so all of Team Sweden, of course. So we are already working, for instance, in India, together with the Sweden-India Health Innovation Center, and developing solutions there. And we are also creating a lot of knowledge and experience exchanges for Sweden, but also with Sweden, with other countries, in terms when it comes to, as I said, policy for lung cancer screening, for instance, and it's also a lot around now with the precision medicine. And it's also important not only to share knowledge or making sure that Sweden has a sound economy to continue making sure that we can have a world-class cancer care, it's also that we have such small population, and the new opportunities and the new discoveries also requires working with smaller patient cohorts also for the research and innovation. So we are highly dependent on creating better collaborations also in the actual, with the research, but also coming to a routine care in the future. Mm. And here then in Europe, we can leverage on the implementation of Europe's Beating Cancer Plan for that.
Who do we benchmark to? What countries do we benchmark with?
We benchmark with several countries. It depends a little bit on what you look at and what you measure. I mean, we are benchmarking, I would say, from a learning perspective, and where we have a lot in common to benchmark with is Denmark, for instance. They have been very, very active in developing their cancer care, going from I wouldn't say the worst in the league in Europe, but they had several challenges also combating with the mortality, and made huge investments. And they've been very proactive, the development with their cancer strategy, but also how they set their national strategy now for working with precision medicine. So it's a country to benchmark with. Also is Finland, for instance, for data sharing. Then we benchmark with other European countries, mainly, I would say. But I think it depends on what you want to benchmark, because we have different health solutions, and then we can be, also very in the lead of something, and others we are not. But we have, of course, important innovation partnerships with France, with Germany, with UK, for instance, where life sciences and healthcare is one of the focus areas. So definitely collaborations in that field.
And you're looking for more collaborations, of course. So
yes.
A shout out to all the international participants during Sweden Innovation Days. Please contact Ebba from Vision Zero Cancer. And thank you so much, Ebba, for sharing your knowledge and what you're doing at Vision Zero Cancer. A great job, great work. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.